Hey ladies and gentlemen, gamers from all over the world, let's talk about why our pockets are hurting and gaming prices have gotten so expensive. We're going to be talking inflation, we're going to be talking tariffs, we're going to be talking the industry just being predatory and wanting to raise prices, and the justifiable reasons why maybe they're justified in raising prices on some gaming goods, hardware, GPUs, and all that bundled together. So let's jump right into it and start off with the newest news. Gaming just got more expensive, and not just for Xbox players, with Microsoft officially hiking the price of the Xbox consoles and their games this holiday season costing up to $80. Nintendo Switch 2 games reportedly costing, more in general, and Sony previously raising the prices of PlayStation 5s overseas. It's about time we just talk about all this. Why are all the major gaming companies making things cost more, and what does this mean for you and your wallet in the next decade? Let's start this off with the big headline. Microsoft has raised the price of all Xbox Series consoles. Yeah. In certain global markets, and confirmed that the new Xbox games will hit the $80 mark this holiday season. This puts Xbox in line with PlayStation, which has already adopted that price point. But what's more important is that signals a normalization of the $80 game standard, even in a time where many players struggle to keep up with the cost of living increases. And let's be realistic here, Nintendo's not off the hook either. If you've been following my coverage of the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders that have been heating up over the last few weeks, well, you would definitely already know this news, but Nintendo's prices of their first-party titles are heating up to be costing all the way up to $90 for physical titles. Even more overseas, and that's even including things like value-added tax already included in the price. Some places it's even well more than the $90 United States price. And with that being the sense right now, it personally makes me feel that Microsoft was like, hey, Sony's already raised their prices of their games. Nintendo's going to push it up even more for their physical title. We could join the bandwagon and let's get everybody edging up to that $90 for games away from that $65, because a lot of times in the past it was like, $64.99 for a game. That extra $25, $30, $40, depending on where you live in the world, is going to add up over time. Gamers are going to go away from buying, 2 to 3 games maybe every 6 months to maybe buying one game for their kids, because it's like, hey kid, you buy this game or you go play this free-to-play game and that's all you get. And I know as a parent, you're going to have to start thinking about where you're going to invest your money on buying your kids these new titles. So Nintendo's not off the hook. I think they're just reinforcing a trend we've seen for a while now. Now, Sony. Yeah, they're a big part of this as well. With the games being reinforced because of Nintendo, we have to kick it back a few months back, because Sony actually kicked this off in a bit because they raised the price of the PlayStation 5 after it came out in the Europe and Asian regions. And that had an effect. I mean, at the time, analysts were saying that, hey, inflation, supply chain, these are the things that, analysts, Sony, and, people saying like, oh, they have to do this. But now with Microsoft and Nintendo's consoles being more expensive than gamers are expecting, because now I feel like, damn, did I get a deal when I bought my girlfriend that Xbox? Because now it costs more money. What if I actually wanted to buy a new Xbox now? What if I wanted to buy a new PlayStation and I was overseas right now? I would probably be at a downfall, would have to pay more, because I always expect the consoles to get cheaper as time go on. This is the first time for me where it's just getting more expensive as time go on, because that only happens when they become like a rare edition, or like some reason that there's a crazy supply chain problem. But who would have thought like 2 years after a system come out, the prices would actually go up? And Nintendo being part of this in their own way, with the Switch price being significantly more than players were expecting. I just don't think anybody was like, okay, I really want to spend $500 for this system, especially with the launch lineup. It has a lot of gamers hesitant. They're going to wait for more games. They're going to wait for their more value coming out of their $90. And Sony kind of kicked this off, being like, hey guys, just expect to pay more for your systems, especially with the PlayStation Pro and the price that came out as. Why is this happening? The economics explained from a gamer like you. Just a layman. This is not a technical breakdown. But why? Why is gaming becoming more expensive? Why does our pockets feel like it hurts more? And it's going to be things like this. Inflation affects everything from manufacturing to shipping. AAA game development costs are ballooning, often surpassing $200 million per title. Tariffs and supply chain issues have become more of a problem for consoles, and PC components are becoming more expensive to produce. Let's zoom in on one of these aspects, like tariffs. Alright, let's talk quickly and laymanly about tariffs. Tariffs are essentially a tax placed on goods imported from other countries. If the US places a tariff on a game console made in China, Taiwan, or somewhere else, like companies like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo have to either eat the cost or commonly pass the cost onto their customers. Over the last 20 years, US tariffs have directly affected the prices. Consoles like the PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, GPUs, CPUs, the components like Nvidia, makers like Nvidia and AMD and Intel, all their stuff gets affected by tariffs or by trade wars between different countries. The matter of fact is just generally those prices are included into the price of the thing you buy, and unlike what's happening right now, like buying stuff from Temu and all those other websites from China, you usually don't directly see the import fees for a lot of products, but now you do, and I'll explain more of that in the video. This has led to price hikes, manufacturing shifts to countries like Vietnam, ultimately higher retail prices. Even the removal of the de minimis exemption, I'm sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly, which used to let sub $800 import bypass taxes, means that now even small overseas purchases get taxed. That laptop or accessories that you were buying from a global site, it just got pricier. And that's because of that exemption being removed for stuff under $800. It's all pretty complicated. Now, tariffs are not all bad. There are good reasons to have tariffs, like it could potentially, possibly increase people wanting to buy from their home countries, and that could maybe help the economy in your home country if your home country actually makes the goods and sells it here. But the problem is not everything is ever made in one country, because resources are needed from all over the globe, because we are unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your aspects, a global economy. In the end, there's positive and negative, but in the end, it's always going to come down to the individual customers. Companies are not going to eat this in most cases. It's going to be the consumers who are going to get hurt every time there's inflation, tariffs, or game developers get greedy. It's just part of the economics of stuff for the gaming industry. It's a profit-based industry, and very few big gaming companies are not public companies on the stock market where they gotta make that money for their investors. That's why somebody like Valve needs to keep staying probably a private company, because if Valve ever become a public company where people have to keep making the decisions in the Valve corporation to make the most possible money, you might not get cool products like the Steam Deck, the Valve Index, especially the Steam Decks, because that was a pretty good deal for how powerful that handheld was. And before we move on, let me explain it like it's like a real world scenario. Imagine that you are an aunt, an uncle, and your nephew wants this cool new toy that they saw on a TikTok video. And let's go through the scenario. Imagine you want to buy the cool toy, but your country, whichever country you might be in, we'll use the United States, say you have to pay a special fee just because it comes from another country. Suddenly the toy costs more, and maybe now you can't afford it. That's what a tariff is, and that's what they do. They add fees that could be hidden depending on if the market actually shows a fee next to the item and make it more expensive. And that's the situation that many Americans find themselves in buying from overseas right now. Once again, whether you think that's a good thing or bad thing, that maybe that child shouldn't be buying a toy from overseas and they should be buying a toy made in the country of their origin, is for you to decide as a customer. But I just wanted to give you an example that, well, many things are just not made in every home countries. Let's be realistic. The PlayStation 5, the Xbox, and the Nintendo Switch 2 are not made in the United States. The CPU, GPUs are not made here. They're not even assembled in this country. So no matter what, these tariffs are going to affect the prices of those consoles once they hit the shelves. And in general, those cost increases are going to be passed on to the consumer, whether directly or through other situations like live service, monetizations, and all the other stuff we're about to talk about. So yeah, on top of all of that, the rise of live service games means publishers are looking for more ways to monetize, sometimes at the expense of players' experience. Battle passes, monetizations, deluxe edition. I mean, if you guys have been following what's happening right now with the Diablo's newest season and the battle pass and how people are upset, and if you're not, just go check that out on Reddit or on Twitter. People are upset about the battle pass. Once again, you don't need the battle pass to play the game, but people who do invest in those systems are upset that they might have to spend even more money to get the best out of a battle pass, something they already are investing in to try to get the most out of the game. Pokemon Go had a battle pass not too long ago, and there was a screw up in that, where people were like, wait, I have to do all this to even get the most out of the battle pass, even I paid? And that's the thing. If there is a way that these companies can make more money and invest in your time invested in their game, they will do it. If they need you to log in every single day and put in another 5 hours to hit their daily player count hourly metric, they will put that out there, because if they can't sell you on how many freaking money they made from the game, they're going to sell their investors on like, hey, we have 10 million concurrent players daily and they put in 5 hours a day. Think about the potential when 10% or 1% of that becomes whales and make us all this money. And that's the problem with live service, battle passes, microtransaction, deluxe editions. They all just another cost sunk fallacy for us gamers. A lot of us just need to step back and be like, hey guys, I don't need the deluxe edition with that extra set of armor. Because guess what? Yes, it's $10 more for the one with the armor, but the game probably has dozens of cool looking armors. It's part of the gameplay. Play the game, unlock armors, change your clothes. You don't need the deluxe one that comes for $10, because now you have incentives just to keep using the deluxe one because, well, I paid $10 extra for this cool looking armor for Assassin's Creed, for whatever game it might be. I probably should just wear it the majority of the time. But I always think that's limited for players in the game. Play the game and use the stuff that's in the game itself. And if you run out of all that stuff, then and you want to support the developers, then sling them the $10 for the costume or whatever you might want. Even though I generally don't buy cosmetics, it's just not my thing. So, what's next? With GPU prices affected by tariffs, console prices climbing due to inflation and the global economics, and AAA gaming is costing more due to development time and just budgets inflating to crazy proportions, it's possible we're entering a new era of gaming becoming a luxury hobby. This might be a barrier to entry to a lot of new gamers coming up. So here's the end of this. My call to action, talking to you out there, the gamers, the people who actually matter and spend their money. So what can you do? And it's simple. Shop smart. Support developers who price their games fairly. Stay informed. Research when the best deals come out for the product you might want. And do what you need to do to not get trapped into these developers and publishers' webs of trying to sink every last penny out of you when it comes to live service and monetization type games. It is okay to play a different game. You do not need to play the same game every single day, no matter if it has a sign-on bonus. It's okay to miss a day. Add variety to your gaming hobby. Play something different. Play a classic game. Play an emulator. Do what you need to do to have fun in this hobby for as long as you possibly can. Be wise with your money, and it'll take you long going forward in this hobby. Till then, guys, thanks for watching. It's been Beaky. I hope you guys enjoyed this long format video. It took me a long time to script this out and edit this also. If you do like it, please go ahead and give me a like. And if you actually watch this to the end somehow, just go down in the comment section below and say, I did it. I actually watched the whole thing. Thanks for watching.